Good morning, Texoma. I'm Ashley Fitzwater. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're taking an inside look at an upcoming benefit that is really going to help out numerous, hopefully, families right here in Texoma who are struggling with leukemia. And joining me now to talk about the details of that benefit and really how something similar helped to change and transform her life is Jordi Mathis and her mother, Cherie Mathis. So thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, and today we're talking about Jordi's Jam 2013. It's a big softball tournament, and it's actually taking place this Saturday in Wichita Falls. So I know you're looking forward to that and really wanting Texoma to come out and get involved. We're going to tell you how, but first, I want to really take a look at Jordan's story and how we have gotten to the point where we're at today. So Jordan, if you can just kind of start by telling us a little bit about the day you found out that you had leukemia and really the type of leukemia that you specifically had.
I found out on February 21st of 2011, and prior to me finding out, I had certain symptoms that led me to believe that I might have leukemia. I had flu-like symptoms, and I busted a blood vessel in my eye, which is another symptom. And when I went to the hospital, I was really low on hemoglobin. My hemoglobin level was 5.8. And we didn't really know what was going on. I felt fine, except really tired, really pale. I drank a lot of water in the waiting room when I got to the emergency room, and we just sat there and waited. And finally the doctor came and saw us, and he told us that it could be one of three things. He started naming off a few, and then he said leukemia. And I just shot out of bed. I was like, oh my gosh, what's the percentage? Because, you can't just tell someone that and say, well, it might be. So he told me the percentage was 60 to 70%. And I kind of knew that I probably had it, but we couldn't find out for sure. So the next day, I stayed at the hospital overnight, and the next day we did a bone marrow biopsy. It took a few days after that, and that experience was very painful. Then on the 21st, I was diagnosed with AML, leukemia, which is acute myoblastic leukemia. And it's very rare for 18-year-old person to get that. It's mainly a leukemia that 65 and older gets. And at 18, you're kind of borderline of childhood cancer and adult cancer.
Yeah.
So it was really rare for me to get AML. And it was tough dealing with the thought that I was 18, I had leukemia, and that's something that when you're that age, you think you're invincible. You can't get anything. You can't get sick. I started chemo that day. As soon as we found out I had AML, they plugged me up, and I started chemo.
During that time, a freshman at Midwestern State University, is that right?
Yes, I had just transferred from Sam Houston. I just started into my spring semester at MSU, probably a month in.
Starting a brand new chapter in your life, of course, and now you're limited to a floor in a hospital.
Yeah.
And I know, though, the hope in this story, of course, is that you are in remission now.
Yes.
And I know it was a process even getting there, like you had mentioned, but one of the big things was another pillar of support for you had to have been your family. And of course, your mom sitting here and your brother stepped up, I understand, in just such a big way and really kind of got us back to this tournament we were talking about today, and that's Jordi's Jam. Where were you, of course, in this process when he came to you and wanted to help?
Well, after I hit that remission, the doctors had planned for me to get a bone marrow transplant, and we couldn't find adult donors, so we finally found cord blood donors. And once we knew we were going to transplant, we knew how expensive it was going to be, and my brother just wanted to help out with my parents' expenses of the transplant, because it is very, very expensive. So he just really wanted to help, and I think he just wanted to be a part of helping. And his big thing was doing that. He loves to play softball, and he just really wanted to help me. So he actually played up here in the City League, and he had a tournament team he always played on, and he thought, well, what a better way than to have a big softball tournament, benefit softball tournament. So the first year, he set it up all together. He had help from a few people, his friends, and they just got the ball rolling. We had a good turnout, and I think the main thing with Jordi's Jam was, for me anyways, was that it was definitely something for me to look forward to, because he wanted me there. He wanted me to throw the first pitch. So I thought I had to get better by then. After I got my transplant, I had to work really hard to be able to go do that. And he was just a big part of that and what's got us here today.
He really stepped up and organized the tournament, got people behind it. He had some really good friends that helped him, and I'm grateful that he did that. And he really has always been very helpful and would help anyone in need. But he really worked hard to get it going for Jordan, and it did. I think it did help Jordan. I think it helped her get better sooner.
And that confidence, you know, of course, of having your brother, someone I'm sure you've always looked up to. He's an older brother, correct?
Yes.
And is it just the two of you?
No, I have an older brother.
Two older brothers.
Yes, older than him.
So obviously, you're the baby, and here they are, of course, stepping in another way to help you out. And I'm sure as a mother, this couldn't make you any more proud to have some.
I was very proud of both of them. The older son, Chris, he is in the military and couldn't be right here, but he did come to the tournament and help when he was here. They both were very instrumental in helping keep the tournament together and keep the ball rolling. And they're both still very involved in the tournament, Andy and Chris.
Yes.
What was his reasoning? Did he ever tell you, like, why he wanted to do this? Because I'm sure, you know, it was time-consuming for him as well to do this. And what did he tell you, though?
He just really wanted to help Jordan in some way, and that was the way that he thought that he could help, because he couldn't be a donor. He wasn't a match. Neither brother was a match. Siblings are only a match 25% of the time.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So he just thought it was a way to help Jordan, and we didn't know. I mean, Dr. Bush, in fact, last time we wrote the doctor in November, he said, you know, you don't realize how much time you had, how little time you had, and she didn't realize, I don't think, that it was as serious as it was. She's like, I don't remember that part.
What your brother did for you 2 years ago, it's amazing, Jordan, and I love this. You just refused to let it end there, though. You kept this going, and tell me what kind of happened into the second year. I know we're going to meet someone named Taylor coming up in just a minute, and he plays a very special part in the second year. But just real quickly, why was it important for you to keep this tournament going?
I just thought that there was probably a reason why I was given this second chance, and I just really wanted to help pay it forward to someone else who really needed it. And when I talked about this with my doctors, I just asked them if there was someone in behind that could really use the help. And they gave me Taylor's name, who you'll see in a second. And from then on, I just knew once I got done with that first tournament that I wanted to be a part of the tournament, helping it and just paying it forward and getting the word out there.
It's an amazing story, it really is, of how one family, how their strength and, of course, just binding together is now helping countless families, and they hope to continue that for years to come, Texoma, and they can't do it without your help. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we are talking about Jordi's Jam 2013, the third year for an annual softball tournament that's taking place this year in Wichita Falls, and all of the money raised is going to be helping Texas Leukemia Society. So we heard a little bit about Jordan's story and really how this tournament got started. And Jordan, you were telling us in the break about Taylor Ishii, and Taylor, thank you for joining us today as well.
Thank you for having me.
And you were actually the recipient, so to speak, of those funds the second year around.
Yes, ma'am.
And Taylor, if you can tell us what you were diagnosed with and maybe just a little bit about your story, and then we'll get into when you got that phone call, of course, from Jordan.
Yeah, it was a little bit different than Jordan's, but definitely different type of leukemia. But I actually had Burkitt's lymphoma, which is very rare. There's about 300 cases a year in the U.S.
Wow.
And of those 300 cases, 90% are usually HIV positive, and so that put me in that 10% of just didn't really know what was going on. And I I ended up, one of the first things that I realized was I couldn't really eat well. I was actually in Colorado with my mom, and so I was doing a bunch of hiking. Went water rafting and stuff, and then I noticed I wasn't eating hardly anything, about a quarter of what I usually eat in a day, and that didn't seem right for how much energy I was expending. So did that for about a week of not really eating, and then got back and started my first job, and I was working. So I had four days of working. I was at Joseph A. Bank, and then I told my manager I was just feeling so terrible. I was like, I need to go home and rest. I didn't want to, because I mean, it's my first week, and so I felt awful. And then ended up going to just a little clinic. I just thought I had a sinus infection or something. My teeth were hurting, which was odd. I didn't know what that was all about. So I went and saw them, and they took my blood. They didn't have the lab with them, so it took them a couple of days to get the results. Then they got the results 2 days later, and they called me and said, I got to get to the emergency room. Ended up finding out it was some kind of leukemia or lymphoma, and they couldn't pinpoint what it was, so they sent me to our doctor now, Dr. Bushin, and so then I got another bone marrow biopsy, I think the next day, and a CT scan. And the bone marrow biopsy showed that I did have some sort of lymphoma. They still hadn't pinpointed it, but later did. And the CT scan, they thought the computers messed up. They didn't really know what happened. And then about a week and a half later, the doctor actually told me that they had never seen it that high on a CT scan, so they thought the computer messed up.
Wow.
But that night, they started me on a round of chemo, and then just that one round dropped it to, I think, 7%. And so that's why they thought something was wrong. But they told me the leukemia I had actually doubles every 25 hours. So if I wouldn't have gone in that day, I probably would have died the next day. And so that was pretty scary. Definitely glad I got that round of chemo. I was feeling much better after that. But after that, I had 4 rounds of chemo, which kind of like her. They told her that she had really good chances. They told me what I had, the doctor said he's had 36 patients that have had it, and everyone has been in remission after that regimen of chemo. And I was lucky to be the first one that relapsed. And so I got another 4 rounds, and then unlike hers, I got an actual stem cell transplant. Just a little bag of blood, which was stem cells from a donor that had donated them. I couldn't tell me who. I get to find out here in a month. I'm excited for that. Don't exactly know what happens, but it somehow basically creates new bone marrow in your body, and basically makes a new immune system. The transplant was so hard on me. He thought I was only going to make it 2 months out, but I ended up beating that. So I'm doing very well now, and he says that in a year I should not even remember that I had a transplant or anything. So
wow. It's been a long process then, huh? We're about 2 years from that first point, and is it all looking positive, or things looking uphill from here?
Yeah, definitely. I've been starting. I had a lot of dental work. All the chemo and everything really screwed up my mouth really bad, and so that's been my only problem right now. But my health, it's been pretty solid, actually. I've been almost the most healthy person in my house for the past 4 or 5 months. For the most part, it's just getting back into regular life again. Sure. I know I'm trying to work out. I mean, I'm down 40 pounds, so I'm trying to get back up into my regular weight, and trying to get back into school and stuff, and that'll come next semester. But
remission now, though, is what you're in, correct?
Yes, I have been since last April. They said once I get about a year out, that my chances of it coming back are slim to none. So
first of all, that's great news. Of course, we're happy to hear both of you now in remission, and I just think it's incredible. I mean, we have just heard a little bit, of course, of all you went through, and it's honestly frightening and sounds horrific. I mean, and to know, you know, that you, as a 19-year-old, were able to push through that and persevere, and now you get a call, though, I understand, kind of maybe during the middle of that. I'm not sure when that happened, but can you tell us what that did for you when you got a call that somebody wanted to help?
I just remember one time I was talking to our PA, Jennifer. She's like, one of my other patients is doing a little fundraiser, and they want to help somebody out, and they wanted to choose you. I was just like, why would just some random stranger want to give me money? I was just like, I don't even know. But then I finally met her, and I completely understood. I mean, she's just very sweet, and it was awesome. We finally got to meet her, and we got to exchange. I got her shirt, and I gave her my bracelet that my friends made for me, and it was just it was really cool. And since then, we text at least once a month and just keep in touch and see how each other's doing, and it's been really great.
She was going through something similar, wanted to help someone her age out who was in that same position. Did that offer hope to you? I mean, what did that bring?
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't expect that out of people that just don't even know you.
Sure.
And so that definitely inspired me, and what is kind of making me want to go into oncology, just to study. I want to give back, and I want to be able to help all the kids that are that were in my shoes. I would hope that nobody ever is, but what we went through, we can really help sympathize for the kids that are going through it, or any adults. And I mean, it's because it's just so tough, and for them to sit there and tell you that, I mean, I know they have to tell you the truth, so they have to tell you what's your odds are, but to tell you that they think that you can make it and stuff, I mean, it really helps a lot.
I also think that no matter what cancer you have, we all have that special connection, that special bond, because we did go through some of the same things, and just the being told that you have cancer, we all have that same bond of how scared we were and how we pushed through it.
Yeah, something no one else can really relate to. We can't understand unless you've been in that situation. Well, Taylor, thanks again for sharing your story. And like we mentioned with Jordan, I know there's so much more we could get to, but we appreciate you taking the time to share, and of course the inspiration that I know that you're passing on to so many others who are watching this morning. We have much more to get to, including more on that tournament and how you can get involved and even hopefully be a match for someone else like Jordan or Taylor. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Inside Texhoma. Once again, we're talking about Jordi's Jam 2013, and now we want to get into the details of this big event that's taking place this Saturday. You didn't just select one person, but now you're taking this dream of Jordi's Jam and making it even bigger. So what are your hopes for it now, and how did you pick, what you're going to be given to this year?
I chose Texas Leukemia Lymphoma Society this year just because I wanted to help a bigger range of people, and I just really want to help find a cure, and I think that's the best way to do that. And I'm not discouraging to other cancers and stuff, but having leukemia and lymphoma, I just really wanted it to help out in those situations.
It's close to your heart because that's what you went through, of course.
Yes.
And Taylor, you even have a special part this year, right? You're going to be out there. What are you going to be doing?
Get to throw the first pitch this year, so I'm pretty excited. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. And again, that's all this Saturday. And real quickly, Jordan, what can people do if people at home want to get involved, they want to come out there? How can they help support this and really make this a success?
If they're interested in playing, they can get a team together. It's a co-ed team, so they need at least 5 girls on every team. The entry fee is $200, and it just goes to a great cause. And if you're not interested in playing and you just want to come out and show your support, you can just come watch. We'll also have t-shirts and koozies for sale, and we'll have a home run derby during the intermission. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. good atmosphere and everyone just helping out a good cause.
Absolutely. And of course, you can probably even make donations. I'm sure they're not going to
Yes.
turn those away. And like you said, things will be for sale. And will those items, the donations, also be given
Yes.
to this? And again, the location and the time.
The location will be at the Wichita Falls City Complex on Shepherd Access Road. The tournament will start at 8:30 with pool play, and then after that we'll have intermission, and then we'll start bracket play. So it's going to be an all-day event. So you can come out all day or just for a few hours or whatever, really. And also, if you can't make it to Jordi's Jam on that Saturday, you can go to Chili's on Wednesday, April 10th, and eat there. And all the proceeds that they get, they give us 10%.
Wow.
If you bring a flyer. And the flyer is on the website.
And you can take a look at the website she's talking about there on the bottom of your screen. You had each mentioned the different ways, the bone marrow, of course, and the cord blood. You're also going to have more information about that out there. Is that correct?
We will. We're going to have information about Be the Match. It's very important. It's very easy to get in the registry. It just takes a swab. They send you a little swab in the mail. You swab the side of your throat, send it back to them, and they type it from there. And you can save someone's life, and it might be your own at some point that you save. With the double cord, they throw out the umbilical cord, stem cells. Donate those. If you're getting ready to have a baby, get information from your OB. It's very easy. It doesn't hurt the baby or you.
Because the part that actually they preserve for the cord blood bone marrow transplant is the stuff that they just throw away. So why wouldn't you want to donate something that could save your child's life or your life down the road or somebody else as a stranger? It's
just like it saved yours,
yeah.
right? That's exactly what it was that saved your life. And like you said, the bone marrow, that's what saved your life. And that's something people can do now, is that right?
Yes. I mean, anybody can donate. I don't exactly know the exact process, but it's just something to do with us just storing like white blood cells. You get a shot, and then it makes it so you produce more white blood cells, and they can harvest those. And then that's what they put into just the little bag that I got, and all it is just a whole new immune system basically, and it saved my life. Plenty of people don't get a match because people just don't know and don't go out there and donate.
You can even go to bethematch.org and get more information. That's if you do the Be the Match, you'd be an adult donor like Taylor had. I was not able to find an adult donor that matched me, so that's why I did get cord blood, and our Dr. Bushin says that in a few years that will be the top transplant to get is a cord blood transplant. So I mean, it's just a great cause, and it's not harmful to you. It's just an easy way to support this and to help find a cure, and save someone's life.
Absolutely. I know something very passionate from both of you, of course, and we just appreciate again all of you being here today and sharing your stories, and look forward to Jordi's Jam 2013 this Saturday, of course, in Wichita Falls. Well, thanks again, and thank you, Texoma, for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful day. As always, we'll see you back here next Sunday morning for another look inside Texoma.